Good afternoon, sir.
No, 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 no. Antonia.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, before people join, so I reached out to some people that indicated that they want to be members. So I would advise that if we can put the link to our website in the chat box today.
No problem. No problem. Mr. Echo, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Good day, sir.
Are we good from Ayonike?
Yes. I shared the link with her. She has read the message. Just waiting for her to join. I'm also trying to see if I can call a few persons just to remind them to join, because I think somehow it appears most people still don't use what's it called, WhatsApp, sorry, and Telegram. So if you go to the list of people on the group, you see their last seen. A couple of persons have not been seen for a
Seeing the
couple of
message.
yes. So just trying to reach out to those ones personally.
Should we move to WhatsApp?
Well, let me say 70-80% their status reads maybe 80% last seen recently. Last seen, but some others maybe another 20%. Maybe last seen a couple of days ago or a month ago. Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's 2:00 already, and our facilitator is already with us. We are just trying to wait for a few more minutes to see if hopefully we can get a few more persons to join in. So just bear with us and probably give us another 5, 7, 10 minutes, and we would commence today's session. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Barry. How are you today?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm very well, thank you.
Good afternoon, Ayonike. It's so great to meet you.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. Pleasure is mine. Thanks.
Thank you for making our time to be part of us. I understand your itinerary.
Thank you.
I understand your itinerary. I can feel your vibes. But it's fine. Let's do this for the Lord.
All right.
You know?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for making out time to be a part of this session. Special thanks go to our facilitator who has made out time from our busy schedule to be with us today, and also to our the visionary of this ministry, Mr. Onosami Emmanuel. Thank you for the privilege. Thank you for giving to the Lord. Thank you for putting this together to bless the lives of people. We really, really appreciate everyone who is here this afternoon. And I'll just do a bit of a introduction of the speaker, do a bit of also talk a bit around what this platform is about, and also do a brief recap of what we looked at yesterday. So sorry, in the last class. NPM is the organizer of this mentoring session. The vision of NPM is to, or the reason, the full meaning of NPM is Network of Professionals for Missions. Like the name implies, it's a network to attract professionals into missions, or to keep professionals abreast of happenings in the mission world, and also create opportunities for them to get involved in Christian missions. And we believe that missions is not just all about going to distant places. I mean, you can't have a passion for an unreached people group or a distant land if where you are, you don't have a passion for unreached, or for unsafe people around you. So you can't have a passion for people far away from you when you don't have a passion for people who are unsaved around you. And we believe that for Christian professionals to be able to share the gospel, at least starting from where they are. We know that for most of us, almost everybody here is a professional. All of us actually, we are professionals. And we spend a large amount of our of the daytime. The time you are expected to be active, we spend probably 90% of that in the midst of, or in our workplace, in the midst of other people who are not our family members. And because of that, it is also important that in the course of doing our work, we also we're also conscious of the fact that we are Christians. Yes, we are working for somebody, or we are working in an organization, but we're also Christians. We are God's ambassadors and representatives where we are. And because of that, we try to create opportunities to preach the gospel and minister the gospel. Sometimes we do it by having conversations with people, for one-on-one conversations with people, telling them about Jesus. But other times, we trust God that through the excellence of our work, the gospel is also ministered. So we strongly believe in NPM that one way to easily facilitate the preaching of the gospel in our workplaces and getting professionals saved is that we who are Christians and ambassadors of the kingdom, who represent the kingdom, we should be excellent in our work, and through the excellence of our work, that will in itself will speak about the glory that we carry. And also, we also make people begin to question our faith. Paul talked about being ready to always give an answer when anybody asks you the reason for your faith. But people need to see something. People need to be attracted to ask you for the reason of your faith. If people are not attracted, they can't start asking for the reason of your faith. And one of the ways we believe that we can begin to attract people to ask us the reason for our faith is when we are excellent at what we do, when we are excellent at work. Then people begin to ask us, what is the reason for our faith? What's the reason behind the excellence that we display? What's the reason behind our character? What's the reason behind our attitude towards work? What's the reason behind the way we endure persecution when we are persecuted at work? I mean, the way we endure such things, the way we manage office politics, people begin to ask, what is the reason for your faith? So that's the purpose of all this. For us to be excellent for our workplaces, we need also to be trained. We need also to be schooled and mentored on how to do that. So that's one reason why this platform was created, to help Christian professionals learn the skills of learn or hear from experienced persons how to be excellent at their workplaces. So that's the purpose of this platform. So we have 4 classes, and the first class was held early this month, or the late last, sorry, if I'm mixing up the dates. So we have 4 classes. So this is the second class holding today. The next class will hold in December. And the last class, which is going to be more of a practical session and a question and answer session, will be holding in January. So we have our speaker already with us. She's a senior manager with Deloitte. I'm really pleased to be introducing her because we work together in Deloitte Nigeria. I mean, if I look back at my time in Deloitte Nigeria, I mean, I'm not saying because she's here. I've also said this to a couple of persons. If I look back at my time in Deloitte Nigeria and I look back to people I worked with, and that actually left me with skills, not just you work with somebody or you leave and you can't really look back to say, okay, what did I gain from this project? It was working with her. I mean, she is good at what she does, and she's also a believer, and that's why she's here today to speak and to us with regards to the topic we are looking at, delivering exceptional results. All because I myself have experienced and have seen her at the workplace deliver exceptional results. Before I invite her to take over, I just want to do a brief recap of what we learned the last time we met. Mr. Emmanuel Nosami, who is here, was one who facilitated that session. And basically, I'll just run through that quickly so that we can start. He ran through 7 sub teams under the general theme of achieving exceptional results always. We looked at following through on commitments to others, embracing stretch goals, encouraging others to embrace stretch goals. Then we also looked at increased speed, timeliness of delivery. I mean, all these things are linked because when you begin to drop in one of them, it begins to cascade and affect the others. So we also looked at your speed of delivery, especially when you're in the high performance environment. These things are very, very, very key. I mean, timeliness of delivery is very key. Take more guided initiative, ask people questions. Don't just stay on your own and start doing things because you want to be creative, which also links into exhibits technical, professional expertise and know-how. You need to be able to identify the skills that are relevant for the kind of work you do and try and sharpen your skills around that area, not spend your time pursuing other things because you want to be excellent at what you do. So you need to sharpen your skills in those areas. Then focus on results. And lastly, have the right attitude towards work. I mean, this is a very big factor because most of the time, I believe what affects people's performance, yes, a part of it is skill, but also a big part of it is attitude. Because I know at some point too, when I started my career, I was working just for the money. I mean, I just wanted to get paid at the end of the month and move on. But as you begin to become more deliberate about your career, you discover that you have to really work on your attitude towards work. You don't just see work as what you do and you get paid for it, but you begin to see work as like you are building an edifice. You're building an edifice. You're selling yourself. You're marketing yourself. Every work you do and you deliver for review or you send to a client, it is effectively you marketing yourself either to your bosses, to your junior colleagues, or to people outside. So I wouldn't want to take much of our time. I'll just hand over to speaker for today, Nike. We popularly call her Nike. So Nike, good afternoon, my again. Happy and humble to have you here. So I'll just hand over to you at this moment.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me. Not sure. I'm praying that my network really stabilizes. And then you can also, in terms of video interaction, you can also see that. I think first of all, I really want to thank the organization, right? The organizers rather of this platform. I think this is very needful, right? Also in the season that we are in, and then also for all professionals in all the fields that you're working in or that you're operating, to show that excellency is the first step. People recognize the excellency that you are displaying. And I love the way Emmanuel put it. What you're selling at first might be the excellency of the work that you're delivering before somebody else will take a second look and like, this person is always delivering excellently. What's are the other things about him or her, right? And then you can build more conversations around that. So let me share my screen. Just a second, yes. Please let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my Emmanuel, can you confirm if you can see?
Can see your screen, ma.
Oh, okay.
We can see, ma.
All right, thank you very much. Please just give me about 30 seconds. Okay, please confirm because I have two screens. I have something as running on the other screen, but I need to confirm if it's in presentation mode from your view.
Yes, it's in presentation mode.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So yes, delivering exceptional results. Again, I think this is also very, sorry, please just a second. Please, can you just help me to close that door? Yes, thank you. This is very necessary, one for us as believers, and then also for us as professionals, or as apostles in the marketplace, as we like talking about that, right? For all of us to perform at our highest level of capacity, because we all have the capacity to deliver excellently. So we'll be looking at different components when it comes to delivering exceptional results, and then also to be recognized as someone that also deliver excellently. Now, so we have a couple of areas to look at. The first one will be understanding the big picture and goals. Secondly, we're going to look at in terms of how you assign tasks or you assign responsibility or you delegate to your team members. Also be mindful of their strengths and then also where they are in terms of their capacity. Then thirdly, we'll be looking at how do you share, how do you come together to pull your ideas together while you're also delivering results, and then also commitment to delivering results. We'll briefly look at how also constantly improving the work process, how you can be efficient in the workplace, how you can increase engagement, especially if you're a team lead, right? And you have people reporting to you, how can you improve your team members' engagement? And then we'll look at encouraging and motivating people. And then also very important is the feedback and recognition process when it comes to this. Now, these are how we'll cover over the next 1 hour. If you have any questions, please you can pack the questions until when I've gone through all what I have for today, or you can just be typing the question in the chat option. I will take everything if it relates to any of the areas that we are considering. Now, the first aspect of the discussion today relates to understanding the big picture and goals. I would say over my career, which spans over a decade, spans over 10 years. I've been with Deloitte since 2009, and I think I've just two in terms of my timeline and in terms of my goal and what I want to achieve. I have that plan, and then God helping me. But over the time, I've asked myself some questions like, Nike, what is your plan? Why are you here? What do you want to achieve in the next 3 to 4 years? What do you want to achieve in the next 12 calendar months? What do you want to achieve in the next 3 months? What do you want to achieve with your team members? What do you want to achieve based on departmental goal? And then how does it cascade to the whole organization? One thing I know is that as professionals, because of the way we work, and especially people, which Emmanuel, I'm sure, can attest to this, people that probably work in consulting firms, right? We spend a lot of time in details. In other words, you're really neck deep and head down into details. But the thing about big thinking or big picture thinking is that we need to lift our head up and be strategic, which is very important, right? For us to be strategic and ask ourselves, what is the big picture? Where exactly is my goal? What exactly is my plan? What are my professional plans and what are my personal plans? And how does it fit into the organizational goal? How do I make sure that as I'm helping my organization or the company that you work with, as you are helping them to achieve their goals and objectives, you are also mindful of your own personal growth objective and you don't lose track of that. So how do you lift your head up, right? Because the big question that I've seen people ask me over time is that, how do I make sure that I'm thinking about the big picture? I mean, it's something to always say big picture, big picture, big picture here and there, right? Because we are always working in details. You are in too many activities that is taking a whole lot of your time, right? That can impede the ability to really sit back and be a strategic thinker, right? And when you become a big picture thinker, it's not only impacting you, but it's also impacting your organizations because you also get noticed, right? You are looking beyond the small project that you are handling, right? And you are looking in terms of organizational goal. What does my entity want to achieve? What are the things that are keeping my boss? What are the things that are giving them sleepless night? If I solve that problem for them, they will see me as a problem solver, as a solution provider. So you need that time to be able to sit back, right, and ask yourself to be able to think critically. But again, let's look at the simple definition of big picture thinking, right? It's more or less like a thinking that really helps you to think about the future, which is what we're talking about. You are mindful of your environment. You are mindful of the things going on around you that is also impacting your goals. So let's take, for example, you're on a project with a client, right? Your client does not work in silo like an island on its own. There are probably other people, other organizations within that industry. So as you're working on the project, you are not just mindful of that entity you're working with. You're also looking at the other entity that operates within that organization. If I ask, for example, what is your what is your plan or your vision in the next 5 to 10 years? Yes, some can be like, okay, fine, I want to be, if you're an entrepreneur, you want to own a business that is of this size, you want to scale up. Possibly, if you're working in a professional firm, it's possible that your plan is to be a partner, right? Which is my own personal plan and goal. Like what I'm telling you right now, that is my plan, to be a partner in the professional firm. It can be to rise to the level of executive director, to be the managing director, to be the head of a department or the head of a unit. That might be what you're thinking of. But we need to leave the realm of just thinking, because if you're just thinking about it and not having actionable plan, you are living in the realm of daydreaming. It hasn't become a vision yet, right? So let's look at some of the key steps in big thinking, right? So the first one is that you need to have a vision. You need to have that vision for yourself and then also for your professional life. Right. So let me take, for example, if I'm going on project or engagement, I am an auditor, which means that I audit companies, group entity, whichever one, right? So it means that at the end of the project or engagement, we need to sign off on the financial statement of the company. That is the output of everything that I'll be doing. But to go back to the beginning, I'm going with team members. Right. I'm probably going to interact with a whole lot of people. I'm interacting with management. I'm interacting with other people within the firm, like specialists. I'm interacting with a lot of people that are like different components to achieve that particular project. So my eyes as a leader is not just on we need to sign, we need to sign. That is the end result. The big picture for me at the end of the day, when it comes to that project, is for my team members. How do I ensure that they level up, that they develop competency at the end of the engagement? This is what they also need to achieve. It is not just enough for them to tick and tie some numbers, but I need to be able to deposit something on the inside of them that is beyond the engagement that we are handling. That is one. I am looking at the client. It goes beyond just signing off on the numbers. I am asking the question, how can I be a value provider and a solution provider to the client? It's part of the big picture thinking, because you are thinking holistically beyond just signing off on that financial statement, to look at some of the other small areas that all come together to form the whole part. So I want to ask the simple question, what is your vision? What vision do you have for yourself, your professional life? Where are you currently? Where do you intend to be? Who are the people operating at the place that you intend to be? Do you have mentors in that field? Do you have people that you go to and they are telling you the steps that they have actually had to pass through before they get to where they are? What's your personal goal? Right. Let me tell you, for example, I recall, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, I was telling myself that I'm actually going to be a professor, right? That I'm going to be Dr. Ayonike. But I can tell you as of now, I don't think I've made much progress with respect to that. So it almost turned that plan to daydreaming, because I was not active enough in turning that plan into actionable step in terms of what I need to follow up with. So your vision goes beyond just your dream, what you are thinking and saying that this is what I want to be in the next 3 or 4 years. If it is not burning on the inside of you, if it is not something that you are passionate about, believe me, the little foxes are going to come. They are going to more or less like eat up that plan and shift your attention to someone else, to something else. So write down exactly what you want to do. This is your plan, right? Make it plain. Write down your professional plan and write down your personal plan, and ask yourself, who are the people within this particular plan that can probably help or support you in achieving that plan. That's the first thing. The second thing is to be deliberate about critical thinking. Nobody, I wouldn't say nobody is born to be a critical thinker, right? Because everybody.
Sorry, ma, for interrupting you. The slide is not moving, so we cannot really. I don't know. Were you changing
which
the slide?
slide can you see? Which slide can you
The
see?
The very first slide.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Which one can you see now?
Okay, we can see the outline. Key steps to consider in big thinking. Yeah.
Okay. My apologies.
Okay.
I actually thought, yes.
It's fine.
So this is where we are. Yes, it's fine. So this is where we are. And we're talking about being deliberate about your critical thinking, right? And then not to just focus on your to-do list. We all have to-do list. I can tell you that today I've been working. I mean, I woke up very early and I was telling my husband, I want to do this FS. I want to do this. I have a mentoring program at 3 p.m. I have so many to-do lists, right? Which is not bad in itself. But when we are not deliberate about setting time out to reflect on our plans and our vision, believe me, some of them will fade away. And that is the truth, which is what I talked about, the fact that, yes, I had the plan that, I had the dream, that the vision that, okay, you know what, I think I want to take my education to up to the level or the stage of being a professor, right? Which is not bad. But I've discovered that I spend most of my time in delivering on my professional goals, right, at the detriment of some of my personal goals, which on its own is not bad. At the end of the day, I am ticking all the boxes when it comes to my professional goals and vision and plan. But when I now come down to my own personal goal in terms of my developmental goals, I've discovered that I'm not able to tick as much. So I'm being more intentional in terms of how do I sit back, have a quiet time in the morning and just reflect. Probably after I've prayed, I've worshiped, I'm just reflecting before all the events of the day will come up and then just kind of like overshadow everything. So be deliberate in your critical thinking. Be deliberate about not just focusing on your to-do list. If all you do is focus on your to-do list, you won't, I won't use the word, you won't really go far, but you might discover that some of the things that are probably burning in your heart, some of the things that you were passionate about, before long, your daily to-do list on the work you need to do will override that. So be clear on the vision. Be clear on also setting apart time for critical thinking. The third thing I would say when it comes to this, for you to really be able to sit back and then also come up with your big thinking, is to free up distractions. Now, for each person, we all have different things that distract us. And that is the truth. We have different things that crops up rather, and seems to take up our time, that seems to shift our focus from the things that are necessary and important and shift our focus to mundane things. You know the things that easily distract you. I know the things that sometimes distract me, right? So the question is, what are your distractions? Because your distraction becomes your distractor. So you need to identify the things that distract you. If you spend a lot of time on, it depends. Sometimes I have to talk to my team members, and if they spend a lot of time on social media, I simply can't understand. But then again, I have to sit back and look at them because we operate in different generations. My own generation, I probably didn't grow up with having a phone. I didn't end up having a phone until when they introduced it in Nigeria. And my first phone was probably Nokia 3310. There was no internet on that before we progressed to having internet phones. Some grew up, and then I looked at my children from age 3, 4. They probably know how to operate my phone more than me sometimes, right? So in terms of the how they grow up, the kind of exposure that they have might be a little bit different from my home. So I have to get to an understanding point that, you know what, I also have to be deliberate in how I help them, right? Some of them have been feeding on social media all through their university life. They're feeding on other stuff all through their. So by the time you get into the workplace, to break that habit suddenly becomes very difficult, which is why during the work hours, sometimes you're going to have quick check-in calls or meeting, and you'll see the person on the phone, on Instagram and on TikTok and this. And I find it difficult to understand. But again, I said I have to sit back and ask myself, how did these people grow up? How did the generation grow up? And how is it different from our own generation, the people that grew up in the 80s, right? How is it different from the people that grew up in the 90s and the people that were born in the 2000s that are in the workplace right now? By understanding that, it helps me to be able to tell them that some of these things are distractions, right? Because when you have a clear vision for yourself, for your life, for your profession, your personal life, Some of these distractions that are little foxes are what will come and nibble on them and then makes it difficult for you to be able to achieve them. So understand your distraction. Anything that you're spending 1 hour, 2 hours above on and is not really bringing any value to you, to your organization, to your family. I will start with maybe to God, to the kingdom, right, is a distraction. So identify them and begin to find a way to be able to minimize them. Believe me, this is very important in the workplace because people observe you. People look at you, they look at what you are doing, even when you don't know that people are observing you. There are some people that I've not worked with, but I observe them. I see excellence in them. And I tell the managers they are working with, I'm like, you know what? I've seen this person's work ethic. I've not reviewed their work, but even by just observing them when they are sitting in the pool, I can see that they are focused. They know exactly what they are doing. They know why they are here. You are not following the bandwagon of gossipers that are saying that this company, you don't understand your boss, you don't understand what they are doing. If they don't do this, you will leave. If they don't do that, you leave. Please pack all of that to one side and know exactly why you are there for that time and for that season and work on it. Believe me, people are watching you, they are observing you, and they are ticking the box when it comes to your excellency. Now, the last one is to ask questions, gain insight from others. There are other people that have walked the journey that you are starting with right now. If you are going to Ibadan, right, you don't just start off from Lekki and then start trying to find a way to navigate how to get to Ibadan. You have Google Map, which can show you how to easily get to Ibadan. You have people that have traveled the path before that can say, you know what, if you really want to get to this place fast enough, this is the way you should go. We have walked this journey before, right? So you are not walking, you are not an island on your own, right? It's not like you just take everybody's opinion and then you work with it, right? You are sensitive and you understand what you need to take and what you need to discard, what will not go in line with the part of where you are working. And of course, you also know the kind of people that you choose to mentor you, the kind of people that you want to get advice from and you want to get opinion from, so that at the end of the day, as you are thinking in order of the big picture, right, before you break it down into your actionable goal, you've been able to put up together a vision for your professional and personal life. You are setting apart time for your critical thinking, for time of reflection, and not just focusing on a to-do list. You are freeing yourself up from distraction and you are asking the relevant questions. Now, how do we link this to goals? So for big picture, you have this big plan, right? For some of us, you want to head a unit, you want to probably be a director, a partner, an entrepreneur, you want to scale up the size of your business and all of that. The question is, that is the big picture, but how do you break that down into actionable goals? How do you break that down into what your team members can follow and run with? How do you break that down into what you yourself can monitor the progress with, which is now linking that big picture back to goals? The first thing, especially when it comes to team members, if you're a team lead, you have to make that vision. If you're on a project together, you have to make it plain to your team members. Make it plain in clear terms, in terms of where are we going? What do we intend to achieve, right? And then what is our plan? What is our plan with respect to this project or with respect to this project? Now, when it comes to that, one thing I've observed is that there are times when your team members are not clear on what they need to do. They will do what they think you want them to do. And by the time you go back and check what they've done, you discover that you've lost time, right? Because they probably need to do rework. So from the beginning, you really want to make that vision for the project, the vision for your unit, the vision for the organization. You want to make it clear. You want to make it plain that, okay, fine, this is what we intend to achieve. If this is a project, we want to deliver excellently to the client. We want to, if you are internal face, if you are, I'll say in consulting firm, you have the people that are external facing, they face the client. You have the people that are working internally, maybe in the account department. of the unit. So if you are external, you face clients, externally facing client staff, you want to make sure that you're delivering quality to your clients. You want to make sure that at the end of the day, not the quality that you think you have delivered to the clients themselves, they are seeing that quality. The quality is not determined by you if the person you are delivering to is not seeing quality in what you've delivered. So the question again is, what is quality, or what is quality to the third party that you are delivering to? You need to have a clear understanding of that. Now bring all of that together and make it plain to your team members, because you can't walk the journey alone. You are working with team members, and together as a group, you are delivering on that project. You are delivering on that vision. Again, I've talked about breaking that big picture into actionable parts. So if your plan is that you're going to get your master's degree, you want to get to a doctorate level, which I still intend to do and I will do, right? I'm breaking it down. What do I need to do? What am I currently doing? Do I have enough time to be able to plan and work out this additional degree that I want to get? How do I create the time, right? Which is why you need to have the time for reflection, for your critical thinking. Break it down into actionable parts that you will be able to follow up and follow through. So if your first plan is that you're going to do registration at the school, to do registration, you need transcripts, maybe from your university, you need this information, that information. You are listing everything down and you're asking yourself, who do I get this from? Who do I get this from? And putting a clear timeline to it. You are holding yourself responsible for the vision that you created, and you're following up on each part. But if you just stand at the part that, yes, I'm going to get my PhD, right? Or I'm going to be a partner, without asking myself, what do I need to do to make a partner in a Big Four firm? The people that are already partners, sitting and asking them, especially ones that are Christian, I sit and I ask them, and I had a conversation with one on Thursday, and I was like, you know what? I think I just need a break. And he mentored me, he counseled me. At the end of the day, I left his office energized. I left his office thinking that, you know what? In the next 6 to 8 months, I'm going to get to my goal. I'm going to achieve it, which is the power of also asking questions and getting insight from other people. So that is that on understanding the big pictures. Again, please, just a quick recap. Write down your vision for your personal and professional life, and then also break it down into actionable parts that you can follow up and follow through with. So we're going to move on very quickly to assigning tasks to team members based on their strength. Please, just confirmation that my slide has moved, because I've moved the slide at my hand.
Yes, it has moved. Yes, yes, we are fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, great, great. So if you're a team leader, or even if you're a team member, I'm going to start with if you're a team leader. The thing is that you are working with different people that are at different stages in their career and in their career majorly. So the starting point is that you actually need to have a very good understanding of the strengths of your team members. You need to understand each and every one of them. Now, let me give you an example. I have team members that range from people that just joined, that they just started working, which is like a year one, to people that are like seniors or assistant manager close to the manager level, right? And each person have their strength and their capabilities. Now, within the people that just joined, the people that associate one, you also, if you're observant as a team leader, right, you are also observant of their individual strengths. Like, I know someone that coordinates very well, and is a year one. He knows how to coordinate efforts with project management and all of that. Now, we saw that during interaction. Now, I understand that as a strength. I know someone that is actually very good with Excel and analytics. It's like a key strength for him, and he knows also how to train other team members. I've identified that as a strength. So have a very good understanding of your team. Like really look at them, observe them, and know what are the key areas or the key things that they are good with. Now, when it comes to delegating tasks or assigning tasks to people, to your staff or team members, there are 4 steps that I want us to consider. And the first one, when it comes to assigning tasks, is when you want to delegate, preparing to delegate, deciding what to delegate, deciding the task that you want to assign to the team member. So the thing is that you must first of all be clear on what do I want this person to do, not the output or not how the person wants to, what exactly do you want the person to do? Right? So be clear on that so that when you are explaining to your staff, to your team members, right? Even if you are the team member, right? And somebody wants to assign something to you, you want to ask yourself the first question, like, do I have a clear understanding of what they want to assign to me? Now, as a team lead, there are some things that are very good to delegate, because what you're doing is that when you delegate to someone, you are giving the person the power and authority, or a part of the power and authority, right, that belongs to you, right, which is based on the office where you sit. Now, things that are good to delegate, you can delegate daily activities, your routine decisions, work to team members based on their strengths, less complex matters. You have tasks that will help them to deliver on their own strengths as well. As a team leader, there are some things that you should pause before you say you want to delegate. Planning, supervising, and motivating team members. Supervision and motivating. You can't ask someone else to be motivating your team members while you are sitting back. No. They need to hear from you directly. And we are still going to look at what is the strength and the power of actually positive reinforcement, encouraging your team member, and then which is like a propeller. It propels them to want to deliver more, right? You also, when it comes to evaluating their performance, you are not delegating it to someone else, because as a team lead, your team member wants to hear directly from you. How are they performing? As a team member, you should actually also be seeking to hear from your team leader on a constant basis. We'll look at that. Like, what is my performance like? What am I doing well? What do I need to improve on? Because again, you are mindful of your big picture. You are mindful of the things that you want to achieve, right? So as a team leader, again, you can't delegate performance evaluation. Evaluate your staff, evaluate their areas of strength and the things that they also need to improve on. Don't delegate complex discussion or negotiation with clients. So if you have an important meeting with a client, right, and then you're also looking at the caliber of people that will be there from the client side, don't just ask a team member, you know what, go and attend the meeting for me. Look at your calendar. Can you free up time and attend the meeting? Because you also have to look at the person that you are delegating that task to. Does the person even carry, in terms of the charisma of the authority, will the client listen to such stuff? So for example, if you want to negotiate on to increase the fee for a contract, you won't send your year one to go and negotiate on fee increase. You won't even send, you might ask your senior to follow you. Most importantly, or most times, you have the partner who has the ultimate responsibility for an engagement, or a director and the head of a unit, whichever one that is there to sit on negotiation, right? Emergency tax or tax that is assigned to you primarily by your own boss to do. Now, for your boss to have said that, Nike, I need you to help me to do this, I'm assigning it to you. In other words, it trusts your ability and your in terms of the skills, the technical skills that you have to be able to deliver or achieve that. Now, when you are being given that responsibility, believe me, everything counts and tick at the end of the day. And again, you also don't know, people are observant. They are looking at you. People are really observant. You'll be surprised that people from different units or different departments, when they are talking about people in your unit, you'll be surprised, like, so how did you know? How did you get this information and all of that? So when your boss assigns something to you, take it with full responsibility. Don't just look for your team member and say that, you know what, just do this for me, right? If you're going to assign it to a team member, make sure you're giving the person the right coaching and the right mentor, and you're taking full responsibility of it at the end of the day. Now, the second thing when it comes to assigning work to team members based on their strengths is you have to ask yourself, what is the level of skill that is required, both from a technical perspective and also interpersonal. Some people are not patient. They don't know how to when you have interaction, maybe with your customers, maybe with your clients, right? And your client is angry. And then you begin to raise your voice. You are angry, and everybody is angry, and there's no solution at the end of the day. There are some people that are not patient. As a service provider, as somebody, whether you're selling a product or services, you have to be patient. So you have to ask yourself the interpersonal skill of the person you want to assign this work to. Based on the nature of that task, does the person have the right interpersonal skill? Right? Either you want to build on the interpersonal skill, or if the person doesn't have it at that particular point in time, he or she might not be the best person to assign it to. As a team member, you're also asking yourself, what are my technical skills? What are my interpersonal skills? What are the technical skills I'm lacking on? How do I improve on that? So that when people are assigning work to me, they can see that I have the capacity and the capability to deliver on this. Be clear on the things, the gap that you have when it comes to your technical skill and your interpersonal skills that you need to improve on. There are people that don't know how to collaborate, how to work with others. People that want to take the glory by themselves, not knowing it is a team effort to actually deliver on any project. Ask yourself, am I the kind of person that wants to take the glory by myself? Do I know how to collaborate with team members? Do I know how to help my team members out when they are facing difficulties or finding some tasks difficult? Do I know how to, when it seems as if there is no way out, do I know how to pull the team together, make them to see the vision and the goal again so that we can all keep running to achieve it? So ask yourself that question, because whoever is going to assign work to you should also be looking at your technical skill and interpersonal skills. So before they will come and start looking at it, if you're a team member, ask yourself, how do I improve on my technical and interpersonal skill? The third step is you need to decide on who to delegate with. Once you've caused the ordeal of what to delegate and you've caused the ordeal of the kind of skill to deliver, then of course is linked to the second one. Who do you delegate it to? What is the experience and skill of the person? Does the person need support? So if, for example, you are taking your team members to work on an engagement, or your boss, your manager is taking you to a different unit and all of that, the thing is that there are specific knowledge that is required for that unit or for that department. Whoever wants to assign work to you is thinking of your experience and your skill. And the person should also be asking himself or herself, does this person need support? Do I need to let this person know that these are learnings, like e-learnings or like learnings on the internet, LinkedIn learnings, any kind of learning that will support you to deliver on that task? And what is that person's interest in this work? Believe me, the next slide that we'll look at when it comes to skill and will. Right, you look at what is the interest of the person, what is their desire to learn. You have to have interest in your work. To deliver excellently, believe me, you also need to be passionate about the work that you are doing, right? When you are passionate about the work you're doing, you will know the things that are not working properly when it comes to the process. You will know the things or the areas where you lack the required knowledge, and you'll be able to put up a structure to be able to bridge the gap when it comes to those areas. What is desire to learn? If the person doesn't have a desire to learn, it's difficult to assign the task to the person. That is the truth. If the person is not interested, is not showing interest, the person is looking at the task and say, this is a Goliath. I don't think I can do it. No. I'll say no. I recall at a particular point, I was assigned to go and work on a project in Togo. And I just gave birth to my first daughter. I think she was about 3 months, and I was assigned to go to Togo. Initially, I was so angry and annoyed. And honestly, I was like, how can they look at me? I just gave birth and you want me to go to Togo to go and work? How will I do it? Will I carry my baby? Will I leave my husband? What do I tell my husband? I was so angry. I just got home and told my husband, I can't do it. I'm not doing da 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 da. I mean, it was a whole lot of conversation. And he sat me down and he said, okay, let's look at each of the elements. For your boss to think you are the one that they need to send, you are not the only senior. Then I was a senior. You are not the only senior within that cadre, right? There are about 7 other senior. They have this important project and they think you are the one that can actually deliver on that project, right? That is a huge responsibility. It means that they are seeing you, they are seeing value in you. Now, before you say, no, sit back and ask yourself, what are the things that I need to do? So we came up with a proposition. I mean, I discussed with my mom. She's late now. She had to travel with me to Togo with my baby, right? So my husband was in Nigeria. I went for some week and then I came back to Lagos. My mom would stay with my baby in the hotel. I'll go to the client site. I'll come back in the afternoon and feed my baby, go back and then come back in the evening, right? Also understanding the support structure that I had. And it made us to be able to deliver on that engagement. So if I had said no outrightly, without understanding or sitting back and even praying about it, that what do I need to do? How can I go ahead and achieve this? Is this something that I can do? And not being afraid to say, yes, you can achieve it. Because for someone to have approach you and tell you that I want to give you this task, the person is not a fool. They are looking at you. Even when you are doubting yourself, they are seeing the potential in you. So stop doubting yourself. Don't doubt yourself and then your ability to be able to deliver, because those are the things that will propel you. And believe me, that became a propeller for me when it comes to my career, right? I've done leadership assessment, right, which is like a last level becoming partner. Now, the experiences I have gathered over the years on the complex projects that I've worked on the decisions that I've had to make, which were not easy decisions, all of them came together to give me a successful, when it came to the leadership assessment, for me to pass very well and became well known in the audit services in the firm, right, between the partners and the directors. Like, she did she did very well. So don't say no to the project that looks like Goliath in quote, right? You can do it and you can achieve it, right? Have the confidence, the will to do it, and then also the time availability. So you're also asking yourself, why do you want to assign the work to that person? So very quickly, looking at the fourth reason why, the fourth thing you need to consider when you are assigning tasks is you are deciding on the level of authority, right, that you want to assign. Of course, the thing that everybody wants is on the fifth one. And as a team leader, when you have someone that you can give full authority to, it's something that you are joyful about, something that you are happy about. As a team member, when you get to the point that someone can give you full authority, which is like act without asking or telling is your responsibility. Now, at the end of the day, I want to see the end result. If your manager, if your head of unit, head of department can give you full authority, stand in my place and deliver on this, that is the level you also want to get to. But it cascades from the beginning, right? You have some people that, okay, wait to be told what to do, follow simple instruction. It's based on the level where they are. If somebody's just joining a company, just joining a firm, you are taking the associate through what they need to do. They can't take full responsibility. So don't assign a task to somebody that doesn't know the way and you're giving the person full responsibility or authority. At the end of the day, you will discover that you are back to square one or square root one. So you can look at some of these guides. Because of time, I won't go into each one of them. The people that work with full authority, the people that need to act and advise me later on what you've done, make recommendations and check with me before you make such decision. Look into this and report back. So these are the different areas. As a team leader or as a team member, you want to get to the 0.5, right? But you don't want to assign somebody full authority and you're still micromanaging the person. You are checking every second. What are you doing? Have you done A? Have you looked at B? That is not full authority, which is why you shouldn't give someone full authority when they should still be on level 1, level 2, or level 3. Okay, so moving on very quickly, I think the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to assigning tasks to team member strengths. Now, you have people that have skill and I will. So it's like, if you're looking at this problem, so you have I will, low will, you have low skill, high skill. The ideal thing as a team member is that you want to operate around here, which is the I will and the I skill, right? And as a team leader, you want to guide your team members so that they operate within the I will, or they get to the point of I will and I skill. So let's just look at it briefly within 1 hour. The people that have low will and low skill, in other words, you don't have the technical capability to deliver on the work. You don't have the interest on the job. You don't have the desire to learn, right? So the low will and the low skill. As a team leader, you are considering, does the person need counseling? If it is skill, a skill can be developed. It's just knowing what is the right and appropriate training to develop the person. If it is a will, which is the desire, the internal part of it, how do you build, or how do you help the person to increase their will, to make it I will, right? You can look at if you need to give positive recognition, maybe the person in terms of appraisal, year in, year out, you are saying you're not good, you're not performing well, you're not this, you're not that. If you keep saying that, the person will keep believing that, right? So if you're really mindful about helping the person, you want to ask yourself, how do I move the person to I will, from a low will to I will? Do you need to counsel? Do you need to give the positive feedback and all of that? So if you've done all of that as a team lead and it's not working, you probably want to engage someone that is higher than you. I've seen some people that have been counseled out of companies, counseled out of organization. In simple words, they've been asked to resign or they were sacked, right? Because one, they are not developing the skills to execute or to work at the level at which they are placed, and they're not showing the will. They're not interested in developing or in building themselves, right? At the end of the day, your organization is should I say what, that companies are selfish? Yes, of course, they're interested in their own goals first of all, and then most of them are profit make. That's why they're called profit making organization, NGO. If what you are doing is not helping them to make profit, they'll look at it at the end of the day. Do we need to cut you off so that we can bring in somebody that will be productive, right? So you don't want to operate within this, and you also don't want your team members to operate within this. You want to move them to I will. Now, you have some people that can have the I will. They have the desire to learn. They're interested in the work. They want to do everything, but they don't have the skill, the technical experience. Thankfully, they have the will. What you need to do as a team lead is, what are the gaps and the areas? How can I help the person? Because you must be interested in the person more than the work. As a team leader, you must show that you have interest in the growth and the development of your team members. And they must be able to see that even beyond the work, you really care about them, right? So how do you help your team member to build the required skill? And if you are the team member, you're asking yourself, yes, you have the desire and the will to learn. You have all of that energy, but how do you develop yourself, right? So even if nobody is coming out and say that, these are the learnings that you need to do, these are the professional courses that you need to write, by yourself, find out and ask yourself, what professional skills do I need to develop to be able to have high skill? And of course, you have people that have low will and high skill. I think this is a dangerous area because there's an element of pride in, I can do this, but I don't feel like I'm not willing to do it. I think there's an element of pride there because you have what it takes to achieve, but you are not pushing and pulling your weight to achieve this. One, I don't think any believer should even operate here, right? The high skill and then the low will, right? Because you must have the interest and then the passion for the work that you are in, even if it is not the ideal work that you think you want to do. or is not, if a customer service person, whatever thing that you are doing it as if unto the Lord, because it's God that rewards at the end of the day, right? So you don't want a situation of low will, no interest, no desire. You are using employer's work to do other things apart from what you are being paid to do. It won't work that way, right? It's not going to work that way. So you don't also want to do this, but as a team lead, and especially if your team members also, whether they are believers or you intend to bring them into the fold, you need to find out, how do I increase their will? How do I help them so that they are seeing beyond the cloud, more or less, like there is really nothing we can do. There's nothing I can do. You have the skill, but how do I help you to improve when it comes to your will? And then you have the last one, of course, which is where I think all of us as believers, especially, we should be operating. We should be the one occupying this. We should be the one that people are saying that we have the skill, we have the will, we have the energy, we are showing it, we are displaying it. In the output, in terms of the output of our work, people are seeing it, that this person has developed on his or her own skills, and the person also has the desire to learn. The person has the desire to build their unit, have the desire to build their team members, have the desire to build their organization. So this is where we want to operate, the I will and then the I skill. So I'm going to move on very quickly. So we've looked at big picture. We've looked at assigning tasks based on the strength of your team members. So want to look at sharing and delivering results, and then also commitment to deliver. That commitment to deliver results must also be commitment to excellency, or excellence rather. I believe that as a person, you must get to the point that anything that will come out from you must be associated with excellence. People must look at you and they will say that this person has an excellent spirit. We don't know what is it about him or her, but it seems as if he's delivering excellently on everything that we ask him to do, right? So that should be the watchword at the end of the day. For you and for your team member, is that commitment to excellence, which is even going beyond just delivering results. Because if you deliver results and what you've delivered, there is no excellence in it, or it is below par for the people that rate it, is as good as not having delivered. So when it comes to sharing, one of the things that you want to do as a team member is that you want to create an avenue where you and your team members can ideate or come together and brainstorm, right? And as a team leader, it's also very important, and we also have to be careful not to discount the ideas of our team members. We like saying that there are no foolish ideas. People are giving the ideas based on their knowledge and whatever level that they are in. So when you're putting your team members to come together, at that point, you are more or less like your team member. You are not trying to overshadow them at that, because if you're trying to do that, at the end of the day, they will keep their advice to themselves, they keep their ideas to themselves. And you don't know if that idea that they will bring is what will birth the new growth that you're looking for or you're looking into. So create that avenue. Make your team members to be engaged. I think we'll look at that in the next slide when it comes to team members engagement. Please, just a second. Team members engagement. So create that avenue. Then the second thing that you want to do is that you also want to create an avenue where you build accountability, right? And also commitment to meeting objective. Everybody must be held accountable. And if you're a team member, if you're someone that still report to someone else, you must be accountable. I mean, even as believers, we are accountable, right? So you must be accountable. Your work, the output of what you're going to deliver right? Because you are delivering to someone else and the person is giving you something to do within a specific timeline. Be accountable to deliver within that timeline that has been specified by whoever has assigned the work to you. And as a team leader, create that environment where all your team members are held accountable, not by force, not by brutal force. If your team members see you as someone that is committed to excellence, right, they will know you won't accept anything less than the best. Right. And then when they are delivering something that is less than what you think is the best, find a way to be able to coach them properly so that they can deliver excellently. So create an environment to be held accountable. Then empower your team members. We've talked about that when it comes to assigning tasks. There are times when you ask your team members or your team lead is going to ask you to do like 1,001 things. Of course, or maybe like 10 or 15 things to be more realistic. And sometimes in interview, I ask people, if someone asks you to do about 10 or 15 things, or like 3 different managers are asking you to deliver on a task, how do you prioritize? Because the reality is that in the workplace, you're going to be faced with the challenge of you are being pulled in different directions. People are asking you, different people asking you to deliver, and it seems that everybody wants the results at the same time. I attended a training and the person said that we should learn how to say no. And I was like, what if the person is like a partner? What if the person is this? What if the person is that? And he responded and he said, see, if you say yes to everything, you might discover that you actually don't deliver on everything, right? So you also have to understand your capacity as a team leader. Help your team member to be able to prioritize. Look at the things that you've assigned to them and don't ask them for the delivery of everything at the same time. If you look at the person's capacity, you can work between 8. I won't say people that work in consulting that probably work till 12 midnight or 10 or 11, right? Maybe they work from 5 to 6 or 5 to 8. What can they achieve within that timeline? What are the things that probably need to spill to the next day? If you have a reporting deadline that is due for the next day, and you know the person cannot finish everything by himself or herself, right? Look at the option. Is there someone else that I can assign a portion of that work to? So I am not setting the person up for failure at the end of the day. Sometimes it might be difficult, but that is the way, again, that we can help our team members. Then lastly, you want to lead others to achieve results by being clear on expectations and also ensuring that our work meets the quality standard. Regardless of where we all work or whether you are an entrepreneur, you work in a service organization, you work in a company that produces, that's into production, whichever one, at the end of the day, your work must meet quality standard. As a team member, someone that reports to someone else, you must ask yourself, what is the quality definition by the people that employed me, not according to me, right? As an auditor, for example, which is my own profession, I'm asking myself, what is quality when it comes to the people that set standard for auditing or accounting? Because if I do the work without being mindful of what a third party will consider a quality work, I mean, I won't call it a work done in futility because I've not really achieved what I set out to do, or what would be called an excellent delivery by a third person. So ask yourself, how can you help your team members to achieve that quality? How do you hold them accountable? How do you create that avenue where you cannot ideate, brainstorm, take the ideas, that decision, have a, if you're using Zoom or Team, just have a whiteboard where you list all the ideas. You have an Excel document where you list the ideas. Don't discount the ideas. Everything is important. Let them explain what they are seeing. I've discovered that some of the younger generation, they have some of these fantastic ideas. Even if they don't know the execution, you can pick the idea and break it down, look for the ways to be able to execute it. But let them open up. Let them be able to, let them be free with you. Let them be able to open up and tell you the ideas. I recalled we had a new structure in my organization. So team members that were splitted into crews. So I had 8 people, no, I had 12 people rather within my crew that report to me. So we had to come up with like, this is our do's and don'ts. I didn't tell them these are the things we should do, these are the things we shouldn't do. The starting point, I asked them, we are all sitting together. I'm actually working on a report, so I'm not there. Between you among yourself, agree on the do and don't. They said, yes, okay, fine. I looked at the output, minimize for phone call during work hours. They said that they will only pick phone calls within break and this. They won't go to Instagram or any of the social media except for when they are on their lunch break, which is their own. That if any of them were actually caught doing that, the person will pay a fine of this and then they will report to the manager. So they came up with their do's and don'ts. They came up with how to better engage, be engaged among themselves, how they want to visit places together to increase bonding and all of that. So you discover that as a team leader, when you are not the one imposing rules, I'm not the one telling them, of course, because at the end of the day, I'll still tell them, I'm not the one telling them that, okay, you know what, during work hours, don't just be pressing phone. I allow them to come up with their do's and don'ts because people know things that are good and they know things that are bad, right? So when you empower them to like come up with your own policy with respect to what is acceptable as a team or not. So we will all be held accountable. You've come up with your own and I'm adding the additional ones as a team leader that is seen from a team, a group perspective of the additional things that we need to put together. So when you do that, and they know they're the ones that put together those rules, it will also help out. So let's move on quickly to, yes, improving the work process and then also increasing team engagement, more or less by implementing methodologies. I mean, methodologies are more or less like tried and tested ways of achieving something or achieving a way. But as a team lead or as a team member, or I'll start with as a team leader, right? When it comes to your team engagement, you have to practice the act of active listening, right? Which is where you are actually paying attention to what the person is saying. You are not trying to, with your own biases, right? Trying to come up with what you think they are saying. You are actually listening to them. And how do I know if somebody is listening to me? You are asking me questions, I call intelligent questions on the thing I've just said. It shows me that as a team member, you are paying attention to me, right? It's not that after I finish talking about 20 or 30 minutes, and then when I ask the question, it's completely off and out of what the feedback I just gave you. It's more or less like a turn off. As a team member, if I'm discussing with my partner, and then I've said that, oh, these are the challenges we are facing. I don't have team members. I don't have this. I don't have that. I'm letting you know all of this. And then you ask me the next question, when are we delivering? It shows that you are not listening to me. Because if you were listening to me, the first thing you should address is to address the concern that I've raised. And then that will show that engagement because it shows that as a team leader, you're actually paying attention to me and to what I'm saying. And again, as a team leader, as much as possible, if your team member request for a meeting with you, please let it not be the time that you are probably very busy working on a task. The person is talking and you are typing away, you are picking a call, you are doing other stuff. You are doing that stuff at the end of the day. It's really not a good one, right? You want to give the person the focus and the attention. The person must know that, yes, this person is listening to me, right? And the same thing for team members too. I've seen instances whereby the team lead, the manager, the head of unit, head of department is having a meeting with them and they are busy on maybe on the phones, they are chatting or typing away, they are having discussion among themselves. Again, that is not proper. So what you want to do, whether you are the team leader or you are the team member, is to always practice the art of active listening, right? Because that will go a long way, even when it comes to paying attention to details. Then to be collaborative. Again, you are not working, you are not an island on your own. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you are the only person in your organization for now, you are going to work with clients, you're going to work with maybe somebody that provides services for you. You have to learn how to collaborate with people. You have to learn the skill of being patient and listening to people, understanding exactly what they're saying. You have to learn how to work with other people that have beliefs or biases that are different from you. Right? Because how do you win people over? You win people over by showing that you're actually listening to them. When you show that you're listening to them, they say that this person is actually paying attention to me, right? It makes it easier for you to be able to break the wall, right? That is in between you at the end of the day. The third one, accountability, we've talked about that. I won't go into that again. Lastly, communication. It has been seen several times that a leader is saying something, the team members are interpreting it differently. Team members are saying something, the leader is interpreting it differently. I've looked at a scenario. Let me just give a scenario, maybe from a consulting perspective. The partners will say, oh, the manager is not the one that is doing this, The manager will say, the partner is not doing this. The senior will say, my team members are not doing this, and my manager is not doing it. The associate will say, see, everybody along the ladder, they are not doing this. So everybody is kind of like pushing and pulling blame to other people. To deliver excellently, it won't work that way. We must learn how to work and collaborate together, and that communication must be frequent and it must be open. If there are going to be any changes, let your team members know. You can't sit back and say, I'm a team lead. Yes, they report to me, right? No, make that communication open and also constant. When it comes to, if you're looking at the other areas, especially if you're trying to improve processes and then be more efficient, have regular check-in with your team members, right? Now, I normally have check-in with my team members, and by having check-in, what we are simply discussing during our check-in meetings is that, okay, so what have you done? What did you do today or yesterday? Because sometimes we work hybrid, we don't see each other. What have you done? So what do you intend to do maybe tomorrow or the day after? Are there any roadblocks? Are there any significant issues? This is our project plan. How have you been able to deliver on that? So you determine how you want to have your check-in meetings with your team members. When I have a project that have a tight reporting deadline, I shift my check-in meeting to a daily basis. When I have a project I'm going to deliver within the next 3 or 4 months, my check-in meetings with my team members might be twice in a week or 3 times in a week. When we are close to the delivery period, we change it to daily because we know that we need to be keeping tab on each other on a daily basis so that we know where we are heading. Then you have to be open-minded to embrace change. And I think this is very important because you see, there are instances when people are used to doing something in a certain ways, they don't want to change. Right. Now, when change is introduced, they are hostile to that change. They are the first set of people that will say, we don't think it can be achieved. We don't think it can be done. Your organization, your employer is not looking for people that will be resistant to the change that they are introducing. If you are too resistant to change, they'll say you are not agile. You don't embrace change. The forward-looking future leader must actually be somebody that embraces change in the workplace. If you have been using an application for long in your organization and they are introducing a new one, you shouldn't be the one saying that we can't use this, it can't be done, it will slow down process. You should actually be the one trying to find out, how does this application work? How do I even be the first to understand it and train other people? So you must be open-minded to the changes that are being introduced by your employer or your organization. And then also you must also learn how to tackle issues and complex matters. If you work with clients, even if what you do is a service provider, whatever thing that you're doing, there are times when you'll be faced with complex issues. you will face with complex matters. There are times when people will come to you and ask you for advice on complex issues. Learn how to tackle them. These things, I won't call them gateway, but they are very important in the workplace, because when people see you as a solution provider, even when you don't have the answer readily available, someone can ask me a complex question. I give the person my opinion. Then I'm like, okay, you know what? Wait, let me do a bit of research. I will come back to you on it at this particular point. I'll go and do research. By doing research, I am learning about that complex method or that complex issues, and I'm also giving you advice. At the point when I'm giving you an advice, because I already learned about it, I've taught myself to a master on that subject matter, on that subject topic. So you think I'm very good in it, but I've dedicated my time to actually say that this complex issue or complex matter, you don't need to go to the south to look for the opinion. Immediately you come to me, I must find the solution to it. So learn to tackle complex issues, learn to do research. Don't just turn them away, but find a way to be able to deliver solution, right, to those issues. So the last thing that we'll look at, I mean, we've considered a lot of things. I think it's over an hour now. Yes, and I was told I have 1 hour 30 minutes. So I want to be sure that I'm within my timeline. It's on delivering results with feedback and recognition, encouraging your team members, motivating them. We work with people, and people are human beings, right? So beyond the work, you must know how to connect with people. You must know how to encourage your team members. Even if you are the one that is a team member, know how to encourage your team leader. Everybody needs encouragement.
Sorry,
Your
Nike.
MD, yes.
Do you intend to change the slide? You're still on the.
Oh, yes. I'm on the last slide.
Okay, yeah. The slide has changed now. Thank you very much.
I changed it on the laptop, but I guess it didn't change on my tab.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I'll say your director, your head of unit, whichever one, they all need encouragement. They also need to be motivated. So don't just wait for them to be the one motivating you. Find something good to say to your team leader, right? And if you're a team leader, also know how to also constantly motivate your team members. Don't wait until the end of the project. When they've done something, you have your project broken down. If they've done something that is really good at that particular point, let the person know, like, wow, I appreciate it. I think this is very good. I have 3 new associates or year 1 that were assigned to me, and we're working together. And the funny thing is that, especially if you're in a consulting firm, you know, if you have a tight reporting deadline, sometimes you have to work till very late, 11, 12, your client is lodging in an hotel, you work weekends, and they've not worked before. And immediately they just joined the firm, they had to be working long hours, working during weekends, and I saw the resilience. So when we had a check-in meeting, I had to specially call them out. I'm like, David, Amarachi, and Faye, I need to really thank you guys. It's different from veterans like us that have been working late for years. We are used to it. This is your first year in the work environment, and you are working really late like this, and you are not slowing down, right? Even people like us that are even thinking that maybe we need to rest, right? You are giving us energy, and they were really happy about it, right? So constantly, don't be stingy with the praises. Encourage and motivate your team members. You're working with people, you're working with human beings, and they need that encouragement. Your team leader also needs encouragement. There are times when they are tired, there are times when they feel burdened down with the whole issues. You're asking yourself, how can I also ease the burden on my team leader? How can I make the work easier on them? People want to work with people that will reduce their burden. Again, I said, what is the thing that is keeping your team leader, your manager, your partner? What is the thing that is keeping them awake at night? And how can you be of help to them so that I can be a lever to you? Lastly, when it comes to delivering results, don't under-deliver. Do not. If there is anything that you want to do, do not under-deliver on the task that has been assigned to you. Quality must be your watchword, right? You don't under-deliver on the task. If someone asks you, if a client needs to report or they need a product by, let's say, end of November, and you're giving it to them at the end of December, even if you're giving them a very good product, because it did not meet the timeline or the deadline when they actually need it, I won't say it, then it doesn't meet the purpose for which they need it. So you won't get the necessary recognition for that work. So please, if you are assigned any task to work on, the first thing you're asking yourself, can I deliver it within this timeline? Do I need to ask for additional timeline? Right? If I can work with this timeline, how can I make sure that I deliver on it? Right? So don't ever under deliver on project or on task. Again, people are watching, they are observing, right? And for you to be able to pull and bring everything together at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your output, anything that you are giving out, that is coming out from your desk, your table, that have your signature on it, it has quality as the watchword. When you put all of this together at the end of the day, you will discover that you will deliver exceptional results. So Ima, I think that's where I will call it a wrap, just so that I'll be in between the time. So if there are any questions, I can take them, or if you want to pack it to the next session. Thank you.
Let's appreciate our facilitator. I mean, it was a very, very detailed, detailed session, and please let's just appreciate her. I mean, very, very detailed and impactful and usable. Okay, I don't know if anybody has any question. I think for me, one thing I've observed over the years is that one thing that is key and central to everything, I mean, you've spoken about today, and even the earlier class we've had, is people understanding the reason why they are working. I think it's not just an issue of, I think it's more of a society issue. I mean, where the society is at the moment, where people see work as a means to just get the necessities of life, but not seeing work as an exchange, that's an exchange of value. I mean, you are in place of the value you are giving the company, you are being paid for it. People don't see it as an exchange of value. People don't see work as a career. People just see work as I mean, where I go to spend time and I get paid for it. And I understand the reason for this. One of the reasons for this is because and I think probably it's also a global issue. People go to school. First of all, the point of getting into school, things are already wrong. People are getting into school just for the sake of getting into school, not because they are studying what they really want to study. Because career does not start from when career doesn't start when you start to work. Career starts from your early formative years. It starts with the things you see around you, how your parents guide you, how you were trained. I mean, that's when you begin to form the things you want to do. But it gets to a point after secondary school and you want to get into university and you discover that the thing you've always wanted to do, right? You have a course in mind that you want to go and study in the university to get to do that thing, but you discover that you can't be admitted into that course. You know, it's different from when you go to the West where people they are begging people to go to school. And from childhood, you say you want to be an astronaut, there's a high chance that you end up reading something or getting that course or getting admitted into that course that will help you get to become an astronaut. But in Nigeria, if you say you want to be an astronaut, just forget it. Don't school in Nigeria. You have to go elsewhere to school. But imagine somebody who has a dream of being an astronaut in Nigeria and he gets into school, probably the course he ends up getting, probably because of financial reasons or whatever, he ends up reading economics. That's already a setup for failure, because when a person gets out of school, he has not read what he wanted to read to get to where he wants to go. He ends up in maybe as an accountant or in an accountancy firm or wherever. So he's not working he's not working because this is what he feels he should be doing to get to where he wants to get to in life. He's just working to earn money. That is what you see people coming out of school with, and they are just, because first of all, people just go to school because they just want to go to school. For so many, peer pressure, parental pressure. I just want to get this over with. Everybody's going to school, so I should go to school. So people just go to school. They pick up a course that is not even in line with what they want to do. And there are also people who don't going through school. They come out, they start working. You discover that the person is not motivated. The person is just working for the money. And it takes probably a couple of years if the person ever discovers that, see, work is beyond just earning money. It's an exchange of value. So I just wanted to say that and ask that question, because for me, I mean, I'm speaking from experience. The first couple of years of my work, of my career, I was just doing it for the money. So I didn't want to build a career along that line, for the fact that I hated accounting in school. And I was surprised that I ended up in an accountancy firm, and I didn't want to continue along that line. So the first probably 3-4 years of my career, I was just doing it for a living, just to sorry, my battery is low, just to survive. So that's why I'm asking this question, right? Sorry, yes, okay, I just have to put it. So that's why I'm asking the question: how do we get people to really become motivated about what they do? Because I think it is it is central to everything we're talking about when it comes to delivering exceptional results. People first of all have to be motivated about what they do. They have to, believe in what they do and all that. So, it's just a general question. Although I've been able to examine what the problem is. I know the problem is not just from the workplace. It's the formative years of a person's life. But how can we deal with the issue at the workplace?
Thank you very much, Ima, for this question. I recall, I think about 4 months ago, thinking about it, I had this similar conversation with one of my coaching, and the person is currently a senior. I mean, before you get to the senior level, you must have spent about 3 years or so thereabouts. And she said she just got to that part, you know, she wasn't thinking about career. Her own is just to, you know what, I'm working, I just come to work, I do my work, and then I leave. I go, I get my money, and then I leave. But I think what made our own case more peculiar, which is different from the one we're talking about, is that even while doing the work, she didn't develop or build on any skills, right? So you can have some people, of course, while you're just working, they are still building on skills, even if they are not sure of in terms of where they are going to learn. And I think that is where the work of a lot of the leaders, right, or team leads, or the people that mentor comes into place, because we must also be very intentional about building the next generation, right? A lot of people don't know what it takes when it comes to workplace ethics, right? And again, you said some of it is coming from the formative years, and I say yes, and I totally agree. But sometimes again, I look at my kids and I'm like, okay, you know what? This person already knows how to operate phone. She's taking phone, she's doing this and all of that. When I was younger in my primary and secondary school, we probably just have NTA, and NTA starts at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. There's even no TV from morning till evening, right? And then you are carrying your book, or you are playing with other children, and you are learning how to bond with other people. And you have kids nowadays, and what they are taking is the mobile phone. They are pressing TV. They can stay by themselves for long. If they continue that way, by the time they grow up, they will be so used to being by themselves that when they get to the workplace, the ability to collaborate and do teamwork might be difficult. So there are so many things that we have to be intentional about how we help people, right? Even from people that are in secondary school, as they are in university, and as they are entering the workplace, right? How do we help them in such a way that they will have to understand what workplace ethics is, what it really means, and how they can, from a very young time, also start thinking about building careers, so that you won't have. And the good thing, thankfully, about yours, I mean, you already have, you built your skill even all through those periods. There are some that those periods, they were not building skills. Now, again, I said I was dealing with the issue for this person that at the year 4, the person is going to the year 4, and was just assigned to me to be, I was a coach, right? And she lacked some of the skills that a year 2 person should be very proficient in, right? And she's now saying that, so how do you now lead? You're a year 4, so how do you lead a year 2? Right, when you've not built the skills that you should have built then. So I think we have a lot of work to do in helping to build and to mentor people so that they understand what it is, what they need to do. They also understand that how to be the best in the workplace, how to be the best in whatever thing that they are doing. Because I think that my belief is that for every believer, the people that professes Christ work with the spirit of excellency. So when we see believer, they should be working in that as well. Do you get? So it means that if some don't know it as at now, but how do we help them? In the workplace, who are the people that are just coming? By being observing, who are the people that need that help, that we need to mentor, that we need to tell you that you need to have a career path, even though you don't know what you are going to be in the next 5 or 10 years. But let's even break it down into the next 1 or 2 years. What are the things that you need to do that will help your career projection over the next 1 or 2 years? So that at the end of the day, when you open your mouth and you say that I'm a Christian, I'm talking about Christ, they will sit down and listen to you. Because even in the work that they are giving you to do, you are delivering excellently. So what would they say? Right. So we have a lot of work to do as mentors. We have a lot of work to do as team leaders in how we help people that are coming up and the new generation to be better even than us when it comes to the workplace, when it comes to workplace ethics or delivering excellently in the workplace. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that answer. Very, very helpful and insightful. I don't know if we have any question from anybody. I mean, a lot has been facilitator has touched on a lot this evening. She's touched on so many things, and I would advise us to go back and watch the video, or I can appeal to her to also drop the slides, because I mean the slides is very rich. I looked at it and the things she was the area she was touching on, I mean, they are very, 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 very insightful. So I don't know if we have any other question that we can take it quickly and allow our facilitator to go and focus on other things.
For me, I just can I go ahead, sir?
Yes, sir.
I just want to appreciate our facilitator. That was a powerful delivery there. Thank you very much, Ma. And I believe that you will still be on the page, where our people can engage you, Ma, on this particular topic, on how they can even, leverage the learning to be a super performer, at their respective endeavors, including their place of work as a believer. Thank you so much, Ma. We appreciate this session. This semester, we are yet to appoint a class governor, but Antonia seems to have been operating as the class governor for now. Antonia, you will need to also make sure that people that are not in this room, they catch up with the learning so far this evening. This is critical and important to the objective that we want everybody to get. So I don't know whether Mrs. Ayonike has any form of contact assignment for the participants.
So I actually didn't have any specific one, but I think some of the things that we said from the beginning is that which is also what that's Emmanuel, which is what Emmanuel Echo talked about earlier, and we're talking about career plan, right? So if people can actually come up with their plan when it comes to their professional goals and then also their personal goals, right? So that you can have mentor people that have gone through where you intend to pass through, can help you to look at it, have discussion with you on it, give you ideas, if it is courses, if it is even on skills that you need to also improve on, right? You have people that can help you with that, but you need to actually come up with your own plan and then make your vision plain. It makes it even easier for you to be able to pray about them when you prayerfully put down in terms of like your career goals, your professional goal, and then your personal goals.
Thank you very much. I mean, I think we have enough resources in-house to, and Mr. Ayonike is also here to help. If you want to put together your career plan and you need somebody to talk to, probably to guide you, or you already have an idea of what you want to put down, I mean, we are here to help you review it and restructure it and fine-tune it I mean, so that it's something that you can use. I just want to quickly mention that, I mean, when putting together a plan, I mean, we all know this management what's it called, tool that we use for setting objectives called SMART. But recently I heard that, or I learned that management tool has now been adjusted a little. It's no longer SMART, it's now smarter. So, I mean, just to break it down, SMART stands for, S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, T stands for timely. Then they are now added two other alphabets, which is the ER, which makes it smarter. Evaluate, because you had an objective that you have to periodically evaluate it. Then the last one is readjust. So when you evaluate and there's a need for you to probably make adjustment, you have to make room for that as well. So it doesn't, your objectives or goals should not just be smart, it should be smarter. There should be room for evaluation and readjustment. So, I mean, we are here to help. You can put together your career goals, your career objectives, and share with us. We can always guide you to refine things, or probably you don't have an idea or you don't really know how to go about it. We are also here to help. That's the purpose of all this, because you can't be excellent if you don't have an idea of where you are going. I mean, it starts with even setting objectives for yourself. This is where I am in my career. This is where I am in my performance based on feedback I've gotten. This is where I am in my performance. How do I get to this other point? And sometimes we don't even know what that point is. What is that point of excellence that we need to get to? And that's what this whole session is about, helping you to know that, see, this is the point of excellence. And these are the things you need to do to get to that point of excellence where people can now say you are excellent at what you do. So, I mean, we are available. I just want to restate it again. We are available to help anybody who thinks he or she needs help. Then lastly, we should also I just want to remind us that we are also reading a book. Starts with Ask Why. We're also reading a book, so let's not forget. We're supposed to take some, review the book today, but I'm not sure if so many persons have gone far with the reading of the book. So we just probably shift that to the next session, which will be at the end of December. So again, we want to thank our facilitator for her time today. I mean, I really, really appreciate it, and I was also impacted by that session. Let's also be mindful of the next session, which will be coming up at the end of December, and so let's also be prepared for it. And again, I just want to emphasize, because this is very important: career objectives, career goals. If you are not clear about it, you can reach out to Mr. Nesami, you can reach out to our facilitator, you can reach out to me to guide you. And if you put something together, you can also reach out to us to help you fine-tune it. And that would be it for this evening. I don't know if Mr. Nesami has anything to add. Mr. Nesami, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, Mr. Echo. Thank you, Mr. Echo, for facilitating this. And once again, our facilitator, thank you for making yourself available. Just to remind all of us that this material we are available on our Telegram page. We are currently deliberating whether we should move the platform to WhatsApp, as many of us don't typically, we are not very familiar with the Telegram page, and as such, we don't get the information and communication on the page on a real-time basis. So we will evaluate that and see whether we can move the platform to WhatsApp. That will enable us to get it. But this video will definitely be available on our website, on our YouTube platform for now, and subsequently in the future on our website. You can visit our website if you have indicated interest to be a member of this network. Just click on www.npminternational.org, and then you will see where you can become a member. You can just click on it and fill the registration form. Thank you everyone that make out time to be part of this evening once again. Thank you, our facilitator. Thank you, Mr. Echo. I think we should have a wonderful weekend.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody that joined. Thank you, our facilitator. We'll end the session at this point to have a wonderful evening. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us if you have any career issues that you need guidance. God bless us and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, sir.